At this stage, this image still has very much a cut and paste look and feel. But I want to bring in the camera user interface before we start blending the layers to make a more realistic image here. To bring in the camera user interface, I'll simply move over to Screen Overlay and select that image through Select and choose All. Edit and copy to the computer's pasteboard, and then I'll jump back to photographer.tiff and just paste in that user interface. I get this warning dialog that there's a profile mismatch. I'll just ignore that and click OK here. Now I have the user interface pasted in here and I can move it around to my liking. It's still way too big, so I need to scale it down somehow. And I did that through Edit and Transform and Scale, but there is another way as well. When you have the Move tool selected, in the options bar you have this checkbox called Show Transform Controls. If you check that, you actually get this transformation box around the active layer here. This will allow you to make transformations whenever you want them without going through the Edit menu. By default, this transformation box, or the frame around the transformation box, is actually very thin and dotted. That shows you that you have no active transformation going on here. But as soon as you start transforming, that will become a thick, solid line. I'll zoom in here to make this transformation a lot easier. To scale this camera user interface here, I simply need to grab hold of one of the corner handles and start dragging diagonally. And to retain the proportions here, I need to press down the Shift key on the keyboard as well. That way I can scale without distorting the actual user interface image here. I can grab within the selection here and simply move the entire user interface. By default, all the transformations happen around the pivot point, which is in the center of the image. The pivot point doesn't necessarily have to be in the center. In this case, it would be much easier if I actually move the pivot point to the corner or to the top left corner. That way I can place the top left corner wherever I want it and do all my scaling towards that point. So if I grab at the opposite corner here, you can see all the transformation is going up towards the top left corner here. I still need to rotate this user interface slightly to match the actual active area of the screen here. If you place the cursor slightly outside one of the corner points, you get this bowed arrow. If you grab at that point, you can actually start rotating, and the rotation will occur around the pivot point as well. This camera active area of the camera is actually tilted slightly, so I'll have to distort the image to match the perspective in the screen area here. And while I have this transformation active, if I right click somewhere within here, I can access the other transformation options as well, and I have distort there as one of the options. So I'll choose that and simply place the corners of the user interface here so it matches the corner of the screen. So when I'm reasonably happy with the transformation here, when I match the corners here and it looks okay to me, I need to actually commit to this transformation. And to do that, I can use the buttons in the options bar. The last button at the far right in the options bar was commit to transformation. And I need to press that to commit to the transformation here. So now I've composited all the source images that I needed here to make this part of the montage here. I still need to blend these layers together so I get a more realistic look and feel here. And that's something we'll look at in the next movie.